Hey guys, in this video I'm going to solve a division problem using partial quotients. I want you to pay attention and watch what I'm doing because your homework tonight is going to be to solve this same problem but to do it in a different way than when I'm doing it. Because the really cool thing about partial quotients is we can solve the same problem in many different ways. So here's how I'm going to solve it. I've got the problem 856 divided by 16, and I'm trying to find the quotient, or the answer. I've already got my think box set up. So I'm going to look over here in my think box, and I'm going to ask myself, can I use hundreds numbers? And I see that 100 times 16 is 1,600. But my dividend is only 856. So any hundreds number is going to be too big. So I cross it off. It's not going to work. So now I'm going to move down to my tens numbers. And I see that 10 times 16 is 160. And I know that I can use that to try to get rid of my dividend. So I'm going to put my friendly 10 on the outside. Put your number on the outside and your answer below. I'm going to say 10 times 16 is 160. And then I'm going to subtract. And when I subtract, 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 6, I'm going to say stop, regroup. That 8 becomes a 7, and that 5 becomes a 15. 15 minus 6 is 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. And then 7 minus 1 is 6. So now I have 696. So I know that I can use another 10 to continue to get rid of my dividend. 10 times 16 is 160. And we're going to subtract it out. 6 minus 0 is 6. 9 minus 6 is 3, and 6 minus 1 is 5. 536. I can still use another 160. So I'm going to put my friendly 10 on the outside. 10 times 16 is 160. Subtract it. Goodness, I'm running out, so I'm going to move my page down just a little bit. All right, here we go. 6 minus 0 is 6. 3 minus 6, stop, regroup. 5 becomes a 4. 3 becomes a 13. 13 minus 6 is 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And 4 minus 1 is 3. 376. I can still use another 160. So I'm going to extend that down a little bit more. Put your number on the outside. That's my friendly 10. 10 times 16 is 160. Subtract. All right, got to move my screen down a little bit more. Here we go. 6 minus 0 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 216. I can still use another friendly 10. So I'm going to put a 10 on the outside. I'm going to say 10 times 16 is 160. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to move my page down a little bit more. 6 minus 0 is 6. 1 minus 6, I'm going to say stop, regroup. 2 becomes a 1, and that 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 6 is 5, and 1 minus 1 is 0. All right, so now I've got 56. So moving back on up to my think box, I can see that I can no longer use any friendly 10s. So I'm going to cross that out, and I'm going to go now to my 1s. And out of that, 1 times 6 is 16, and that's what I'm going to use as I solve it. So give me a little bit more room, extend my division, and I'm going to put a friendly 1 on the outside. I'm going to say 1 times 16 is 16. Subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. 5 minus 1 is 4. I can use another friendly 1, so I'm going to put 1 on the outside. 1 times 16 is 16. Subtract. Extend my page a little bit more. All right, 0 minus 6 is stop, regroup. That 4 becomes a 3. That 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. I can use another 16. So I put 1 on the outside. 1 times 16 is 16. I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 6, stop, regroup. 2 becomes a 1. 4 becomes a 14. Ooh, somehow I got a purple color. 14 minus 6 is 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. No, it's not. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. That sounds better. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So now I've got this 8. I cannot put another 16 into it. So going back up to my think box, I see that the smallest thing I can do is 1 times 16 equals 16. So when you can't subtract again, then you know you've reached the end. Just like our wrap says, we're going to wrap this problem up because we know it's getting late. We're going to add up our friendly numbers, which we've got to do very carefully because I used a lot of space to solve this problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that purple color that I somehow clicked on before, and every time I add a 10, I'm going to cross it out. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, with a remainder of 8. So going all the way back up here, I got 53, remainder 8. And of course, we do need to check that with multiplication to make sure that we got the right answer. So I'm going to get rid of that think box right here. Get back out my pen. We're going to do 53 times 16. 6 times 3 is 18, carrier 1. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. 0 and cross out, 0 and cross out, keep going. 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 5 is 5. Add them up, up, up. 8 plus 0 is 8, 3 plus 1 is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 848, but don't forget we had that remainder of 8. So we do have to add 8 more. 8 plus 8 is 16, carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, and bring down our 8, which means that my dividend should be 856. Scrolling back up to the top, I see that my dividend is in fact 856. So therefore, I know that my answer of 53, remainder 8, is correct. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, I solved that problem, but I did not solve that problem in the most efficient way possible, and that is your homework tonight. You already know what the answer is. 53, remainder 8. So what you're going to do is you're going to now solve this problem, but you're going to try to solve it in a different way, and hopefully a more efficient way than I did. Good luck.